In this video, we're going to take a look at sharing Google Docs. One of the most powerful features of Google Documents is the ability to share them with other people and collaborate real time. There's a couple of different ways that you can share a Google Doc. You can go to the File menu and share here, or because you do this quite often in Google Docs, they have a big blue share button right here in the upper right-hand corner. If you hover your cursor over that button, you will notice that you will see the share settings. By default, all documents are private, viewable only to you unless you change that, and it tells us that right here. If I click on the share button, we're going to go into the share settings. Now again, here it tells us who has access to this document. Only the people listed below can access it, and right now I'm the only one listed here. Let's change that. Let's look at this change link right here. If I click on the change link, we're going to get some various different visibility options. If we look at these options from top to bottom, we kind of want to think of it like this. This is wide open, and towards the bottom, as we go further down this list, this is more secure. So wide open towards the top, more secure as we go down the bottom of the list. Let's take a look at these different options. If we choose public on the web, that means anybody on the internet can find and access it. No sign-in is required. So anybody could do a Google search and access the document. Now we can change their access levels once they find the document, and that's down here at the bottom. Right here it's set to Can View. That means they'd be able to access the document, but they wouldn't be able to change it. Anyone with the link is a little bit more secure than making it public on the web. Anyone with the link means that anyone you give the link to can access this document. But again, they do not have to have a Google account. They do not have to be signed in to be able to access it. Now we get into some special settings that are, because we are a Google Apps for Education school, we have these two options here in the middle. If we choose Norfolk Public Schools, that means that people at Norfolk Public Schools can find and access the document. They would have to be signed into their npsne.org account, but they would be able to find and access the document. A little bit more secure than that is people at Norfolk Public Schools with the link. Here again, it can only be someone who is signed into their NPSNE account, but they also have to have the link in order to be able to access it. And of course, the most secure is to keep the document private. Only people explicitly granted permission can access, and they have to sign in. Now, if we choose any of these other options, you will notice that we can also change the access levels that these people can get. Can View means they can only see the document, but we could change that to Can Comment, which means they would be able to make comments on the document but not change it. And Can Edit means that they can do anything to the document that you can do. Most of the time you want to leave that to Can View, but it depends on the situation. We're going to leave this at private, and I'm going to show you another way that you can share a document. So if you made changes here, you want to go ahead and click Save. You'll notice here when we get back to the share settings, we have this box down here at the bottom that says Add People. The way I prefer to share a document is I like to share it with specific people. So if I click down here, I can start adding email addresses, and this ties into my contacts list. So as soon as you start typing a person's name, their email addresses are going to populate. You can click on the correct name. You can add multiple people to this list. Again, here is where you're going to tell them what they can do with the document. By default, Can Edit means that they can make any changes to the document, they can share it with other people, and so on. You can also change that to Can Comment, which means they can make comments on the document but not make changes to the document. And Can View is probably the most secure, so they can open the document and view it, but they cannot make any changes to it and they cannot comment on it. You have the option to notify people via email, and this is helpful if the person isn't normally in their drive all the time. You can send them an email message, and you can even add your own message to the default message that is sent by Google. You can send a copy to yourself of this email, and you can paste the item itself into the email. Now, I hesitate at doing this because a lot of times email packages will block out that kind of content, so they have to click on the link in the email anyway in order to open the document. So we're going to go ahead and add this person's name, and we're going to click Share and Save. And now we can see that these are the people that have access to the document. I have access to the document, and the test teacher also has access to the document. I can change their access levels right here, and I can remove them from this list by clicking the X if I no longer want to share that document with this person. I'm going to click Done. And I'm going to switch over to this test teacher account, and you can see here is the email that I shared with them and the document that I've shared with them. They can either open up their drive or they can click on this link and that document will open. Now we can see, and I'm going to switch back to my account, I can see that there is now one other viewer in this document. If I hover my cursor over the top of this color, I can tell that the test teacher is on this document, and I should be able to see that their cursor is where their cursor is at in this document on my screen. And there they are right there. So if they were to begin typing, I would be able to see the changes that they made. So again, to share a document, you want to click the big blue share button. Notice that when we go up to the share button now, it tells me that the document is private to me and that I've shared it with one other person. If I want to change those share settings, I can come into the share settings and I can simply click the X to delete that person, and I need to save the changes, and now that document is no longer shared with that user.